ya timbe kitilo watati ngari ga isoko kana be omo ngwana kete kurgetembera lakini ntuwa giringe nchira
Action.
Mwancho muligereria mwanchomo tegarariri tukeriga kitariki isano na ibere mutinyo gatano na kabiri mwaka w'ikiri bubere na 2022 chingaki chingi yakige matwanyoreri bagagukwana masemo noyo kurigekero kyobo women rep korwase county ya Nyamira Daktari Emily Nyagarama wose Riberera buna abakikora korwase county ya Nyamira bamumanyire nabo igobunere amanyekanite mono korwase county yiga ekaratigari tamatuko emeronge tato nerimoka busibo bochori obonene bwekitariki kyano mutinyo gatano na gatatu mwako yego so mutinyo gocha nigo Riberera lia siasa ligenderete gukina mono korwase chi county emeronge na isano na ibere anene mono korwase county ya Nyamira nakia kugara morgobo bono twanyoreri bagari abene gukwana nere daktari wose Riberera buna nachika kogotebya nyarako bakagotorera amangana ao anene mono age siasa ali agenderete okorekana korwase county yiga ekero abarwaniria ao bagenderete kwerigeria ali bagari abene konyora ebirogo ao asobochori obonene bumwako yiga yoranga nigo amatangaza ya akugokira masemo korwase chi station wose bitu ao byoboraria korwase orugongo rwagusiye byakire nkumagati yabo Getembe TV nabo igo Getembe FM 102.7 tobwate Kisi Hot TV tobwate Seito FM nabo igo Kisi FM amo na Tawala TV nigo twanyoreri bagari abene margoba yabono kwene kibunango koletara tore amatangaza ya iga masemo asenchira yabene kege manchenkoro kwa Eric Bosire kwa niaba ya bonsi bali bakone kiyabunango ikiranditore amaliogi nechibicheiga asenchira yabene kege mambuye mono sana daktari asinge nchoko nyali bagukwana mu 90 margoba yabono abange bakoroka Riberera na nigo Riberera lia siasa ligenderete gukina mono anene mono karate tamatuko 30 nerimoka busibo chore bonene bumwakoyo umurigereria nabo igo mutegereri naga nikomanya ninki gose na Riberera
Tingore introduce renderi tangan.
Karibu sana.
Aba minto Samaria tenkor ku Dr. Emily Kwamboka Matoke Nyagarama. Igo ntenene kerogo kyabo women rep Nyamira County ande pate ku ODM ere ase azimio la umoja. Ere tariana ria siasa ne Riberera. Ari nkorangera rikwa boria. Rieta Riberera erieta rio mogoko eriachete baserio bokendu anene bore ase Nyamira County ase binto ngochikobereza baadaye umaito bokendu bokareta ri pneumonia Riberera riaretera igo ne Riberera that's why the name was coined.
Mbiamono sana daktari nande na twashika bateba Riberera ria siasa ligo genderete gukina ase county ya Nyamira nemo na sekero kyobo women rep nande no oyo muboborwaniri bekero kyobo women rep korwa se kyama kya ODM na wateba uyu nyareko bakagukinira Riberera ase county ya Nyamira ninki okagerete kega gwanyareko bakokore kogera siasa ikinkorora tore buna ase birugo onkonyoro tore bali abababe gose bali at the forefront asoro yo mobo inki kega kwanyareko bakokorera abanyamira bagwanchite sane kogera kero gweta keren kono ko Riberera
Mbiyo mana asari swari. Aseke maene keringa inche professionally na bero mwalimu ase university for 20 years. Igo na asomiri abana na bana bane mbari kubwa anene class. So igo na skills yechi na chimbwate na retire ground. Na anene mono egentongo kora bono igege koru civic education. Engo tema koro kyo Nyamira muna ekeroweke kyobo women rep anene ninki erol yaye gosegasi yaye ekero bachoriru ninki erinde bamanye I think una na abasomiri nakigeko gero konyora abantu abange bako resonate with me ekiagera na abatebirie kemaene naende nimefafanua kwamba hii kiti kazi yake cha ukweli ni nini na kieke gero kukero montaga tanga Riberera tigari cherito somye anene na masomo batagete
kutigara gabwa sote abona nigo ko basomya bakichukura nabwo abamenyi be county ya Nyamira igoro yekero kyo women rep abange bakagerete nga gose abange bamaitenga no ko represent abangina asa uburai anene mono asekero kyo women rep no torera senchero yo bwenge nga mo women rep gasi ya main nere buna kwanyara ko bako basomya una wachika hotel
bono ekero kyo women rep nkia bete created gose nkia rosetwe ngageche okorera omong'ina bweka egasi ekero kio women rep ekiabegetwe through affirmative action ng'abagachikorigereria in Kenya abantu bari parliament mbarabia bange is what gender n'abagaka bose n'abang'ina in Kenya unlike other countries abagaka bose abamura nabo barenga abange so tokayo 2/3 weichoreria ase amabaga ya women. So out of the constituencies that we have 47 na vale women reps na kikero kiabete created nechigas chaye nchire stipulated in the constitution ngia chiterinde gechego korera bangina bokegas. It's a community based seat na ndenke bwate chirol chaye chigokora ichinda kwa resera I think badai na kikigekogera n'abasomiri na kikigekogera abantu bono bachakire kuigo kobongo una ekemaene ekeroge kabantu bande konya batari gwakera chikura ekeroge ekeninki egasi yaye ninki nkikera tokonye na ende nkikiabete created for
igo mweshimwa no teabuna ekeroge kyobo women rep panel mono kurase county ya Nyamira nigo kiebire gose korengana mono gotea gose nigo abana inchi abange batamaiti egasi ya ninki
titangani abana inchi mbamanyete bange mono na US naye no MP naye no mweshimiwa una Nyamira etobwate chi constituency renga inye ko komente kero kyo mu women rep baba batano naende mbono ko bairesa buna ekero kyo mu women rep asago isaransa National Assembly part of the Legislative Assembly women rep nere no isaransa ere no mo MP lakini bono oba MP ye chi constituencies era atenenete akorane bune senator orane bune a governor. For example in Nyamira County chi constituency tobwate Mborabu togatwara Kitutu togatwara North Mugirango and West Mugirango bado nayo mu women rep which constituency chirenga inye asogo isara you represent abantu ba Nyamira but asogo isara National Assembly rights chio mobunge chionspi naye no koreteki no bwate lakini yaye tori koyegu CDF funds okoyegwa ngaf funds bono igo kenga totebe no mo MP full
baroro bagoteba gusaba ntabangana mona bangina abamama baito bamaitenga chibeso mu women rep akonyora muna gwateba bateba chifandi chakoyegwa anene mono cha affirmative action fund bamaite chichigo cha si account anya milioni 8 kera umwaka for 5 years kende gose kero kende chibese nchiroro gose bintombiro rebi ngao mu women rep akanire go ikereni apart from ko go divide na kwana na chibese chigo cha saba abananchi affirmative action
and affirmative action chiro bono kombori for example nga nkichibese chiwene tekokora it's stipulated in the law under affirmative action or affirmative funds you when you have to come up with a structure or such model as chibese chiwene tekoenda according to the constitution. For example nabora decide bono netichiro totebe it says that you have to provide shelter for the markets ibagoko na for example buna maburi orosie echiro for that area a unit that will match that amount of money so nabo identify projects chirichire within your area ora akore tari amangana una chipara usekwa gacha school nothing like that but what in the community can you do for example other people will say women reps what have they done with these affirmative action funds barosri shed chair boda barosri shelter chair abangina bechichiro tali ngoba mabuli apana put for them permanent structures echibago cha okora bago cha abandi bagurire chibas chiko enda chakora benchmarking baru totebe Nyamira twenda bumeru twarora inki abameru bakora
iko chibese cyo mweshimiwe cha affirmative action nchibwati specifically role ya age
na yo bwene tego design according to the constitution because the constitution says ogo tumia chibese cyo for the less privileged na yo go isaranso o design. That is why omo women rep abwene to tware a board ya koraki ya decide this is our priority in this area because constituency A doesn't have the same requirements for that money as constituency what B. That is why in my area I'll have to create offices in every constituency. well, the political boundaries are the 4 constituencies, but administratively, we have 5 sub-counties. Igona bora reti besaire ngatoko egwa, obeko bisi, kira a sub-county. In that office, you have to put staff. Ekarikwa bekire staff, you have to put a board of that area. Wamanya ko prioritize. What is it in our area that is urgent, or what kera be priority entangani to bwenete okora. Ba kereta bune board, ba retero mu women rep, tibese che constituency chabo, ba koraki ba chibanga. So that we don't, as leaders, don't duplicate the duties. Yes.
Mheshimiwa nene mono kurwase county ya Nyamira sai kwa Nyagarama kwanira na emiaka 10 ya Nyagarama keguchikoera bono kwa Nyagarama tokonyora aba women rep saba wakilishi baba ngina kurwase county ya Nyamira asi emiaka 5 ya erete na wige emiaka 5 guchikoera nuko gerita sa kwa Nyagarama kwana keroro kia Nyagarama kegwikira ni wase county ya Nyamira use keroro kia tigiruro ra chikonya Nyagarama kegwikira
tali nga Nyamira yoka ekero kyo mo women rep Nkiraba well understood. That is why I'm doing civic education. And indeed, when I go Nyasanga and Chirenge and Daria, the first thing, no komekia bangina baba understanding of what is their role. A role yetere very clear. The roles of the MP are still there, and we still have to deal with those ones as well. First, oversight, there is representation, there is legislation. And then there are those specific ones for women rep. For example, you have to pass motions for the less privileged, the vulnerable, girl child and widows, orphans, and all these other people. Wazee, wale wenye wamepitia hiyo miaka and all that. You sponsor bills and motions, and you have to participate, and you have to be an advocate. They also say in the law that we must identify projects. Yani torikichi project toko nyabangna ba chigrupu chabangna girls, teenage mothers, single mothers. In Chemunomo women rep, embene to identify the projects, to supervise those projects, and ensure they are profitable to them. Na taking what na ki mba understand it na, for example, ebiyombe bire na Nyamira bono mbiko nyara gukora chi project ye government yeto eteri bagatokore ekyagere ebiyombe mbiri compliant with the government stipulations. One of women rep nanche be the intervening factor. Inche mbwene takoire byombebi imbirosie bibe compliant bikore byasara biri eloengete libagankore. For example, inche byombebi bire self help group ni tuchitika abangina bali ambaroseri company. Kerna baroseri company affirmative action here goteva iga. 30% of all businesses must be done by women. 30% people with disability. 30% youth. Ninche uno mama county bwena takorigereri. Abangina bambari compliant. Bara akore biasare via 30%. If they are not, what's the hitch? That hitch, chibe sanko ibutorine government changaf. Onye no form a company to ba formeri. Paka to bara seri certificate ya agipo. Ba koira na batevia. We work with the local leaders like the MCAs, the governor, and all these other leaders. Any institution that belongs to the national government, it's very private. These women must participate kokore biasara as a institution. An easy example. Iga abu anembura. Nyakongo no era, omoyo no era, nyalekere na menyinya. Abangina ba around iga. Youth ba around iga. People with disability ba around iga. Na babwena tukoire bituma chi school wecho. Na babwena tukoire chingende chi school wecho. Na babwena tukoire chingeni school wecho. Lakini Saudi byombe bitari compliant to operate in the government sector mbago kora. So what they do is they recycle poverty. Omo women rep na bwate mandate you go intervene na korosi byombe. That's just one of them. The other thing is that she has to supervise. Every interview we go check out the government. Taliera wakoraki. Taliera, for example, kulika baskari. Lakini na bwana to supervising abaskari bali kuna abanyamira. Abami bali kuna abanyamira. Prisons bali kuna abanyamira. Abalimu bali kuna abanyamira. Na endonye bali kubanyamira. E bali kwe ward yemo. Ekiagere to bwate 20 wards. Have we distributed? Meaning, my role is to oversight equity and equitable distribution of resources, both financial and non-financial in Nyamira County. If it has not been done like that, our opinion as a woman rep is to go to those particular departments and use my seat to complain. Meaning, I must right all the wrongs that are meted against my people in Nyamira County. Simple cases. You have to go and negotiate. Abana ba Nyamira banyore chikos chingia. That you bwari mubuka. And to fight for engineering, architecture, to fight for aviation, dentistry, medicine, IT, all these other courses. And over time, abana baito na ntubanyore chi inchiri matureka echitene ine ibagamoko basombe once mobile ke teaching tigango toba echikosi echi. Why am I crying for that? It's because that is unfairness. Eyo Nyamira na eyo mwana ndebansi chirenga ine. So it's my work to go to COOPs and lobby. Dilibago kora switching of courses. That is why I should be in checking abana baito bakoreke banyore. That is why we must have an office. Abana bali baenda ba register to arigere linkosi kichakoreke bayiriru we rectify.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bemono mwanchomo ligelio mwanchomo teri nyoranga nenkwana ye masemo na Daktari Emily Nyagarama kurwa se county ya Nyamira oyokoligia koba omo women rep maiga yitariki kiano mutinyo gatana gato mwakoyo unanachika kogote ya matangaza yaniga kogochira masemo wetera se chi station kurwa sorongo rwagusiga tiabo Getembe TV Kisi na boigo Getembe FM tubwate Kisi Hot TV Tawala TV Seito FM na boigo Kisi FM ase tokonyara kubato kwa na mase monyoranga nigo tole ne kirengeka ne kwa ne kingango koletara tole chi agenda chiri abarwaneri abo bwate kurwa se chinsemo one mono kurwa sorogongorwa gusi county ya Kisi na boigo county ya Nyamira banyare ko babago twera ali babwate anene mono guchia saba kichikura chinga kitotigaliti amatuko emeronge 3 na limoka ensi ya Kenya nyare ko bakego so sobo chori bonene go chora abarai akorwa sekerugo kyoborai wense we kasobo MCA asekerugo kyobo women rep kebwateri bagali nene kogera nigo ako represent ko siniga kuwakilisha abana inchi naboga bakichukura kurwa se county ngima na kiako ratonya ko batogutwara libageli gana Daktari Emily Nyagarama nyoranga nabo tutumira ujumbe yabo seliboli yao ase mitandao yonsi ya kijamii Facebook, Twitter na boigo asensemo ya Instagram wetra se chi platform wechinanyara bakinko kotebya gati yabo Getembe FM, Getembe TV na boigo Kisi Hot TV na boigo ntobwate Kisi FM na Seito TV na Tawala TV nyara ko bagoko tomali boli dia ontu nyara ko batoba soma nyuma tutarakora ama ujiana ya senkwane igayemo asemo mweshimiwa tutaraenda asi agenda yao ningani ko boli goro yekiama kia ODM kikerense obomo bwazimio la umoja abantu abange banyara ko bagote abuna atali yekiama kole nomorai aninkiora kwa nego rengani
eri swali ilikuwa mborienda very biased yekiagera.
Yes,
Nimekuwa mwanachama wa ODM since the year 2000. Igomona nchenga mineti na chama ya ukweli no DM nerengete certificate. I'm not an independent candidate.
Ebyama bindo mweshimiwa mbiroro
ebyama byazimio
yes,
mbiroro lakini toro chini ntwe bedrock ababande nabageni ngonya gocha bale chama ni ODM njenera mteneni na ewe baba the fifth akokwazimio na umoja lakini chama yae no DM lakini bono tuachira hamo ni vyama bibinde byonsi na kile kitu formality azimio la umoja lakini nchebuna as a person I'm a member of ODM party yanene ritunda na endenere yangete certificate so I must appear
yes,
ngokora chi activity chonsp chi party yane igaiga na embali bande bare nazimio ngokora bare ebintu byabo ko bwabo twamanya go chama yes
Nyamira nago akere kura singe nchore ODM was singe nchoye ya agenda ya ilio bwate
oma tabeke maana seri swali elio abantu mbare bawo wakera esengencho ya sera zako na bali mbare babwata fanatical support nga ODM ni chama cha baba na mama so njabona nyetekeseti na bongo ni sera zangu na watu wa ODM na wale wengine pia watanipigia lakini asepati yane ni ODM nde lakini watu wote wenye watanipigia abande mbare chipati chinde pia wao wananisupport yes.
Mweshimiwa ali swali kiromonto araga nikumanya agenda ya ose nda tebe manifesto ya uchi asomo Nyamira ekerengeke nene kia guyoko ganikobo mu women rep ase county ya Nyamira kwanyara ko kwerera abo maega senchera yo bwenge kolende gentonkero roke yoga netigo kore kemo aso munyamira nyare ko ba gosanya ko bakakochora ekero anyare ko bakakochora bakorere ase emyake tanere bosio.
Yes. Egente getangani ngokora ne chigap chirichire ase Nyamira county tingumanya nanda kibeke kusira kini chigap chiria amabagaria omo women rep bwenete gokora chance na chingo cha mitigate those gaps. For example, egente getangani ngokora my oversight role buna to gukora mwako yo gocha ebintu biri byose bibiko cha kwabangu bya national government bigocha una nagoteri bakante ne nabo make sure nga equator ya Nyamira yakorereki yakire but yanene mono egente getangani ndachi kunyara gukora esa uri nasomiri entrepreneurship for so long in the university no kolenda ebiyombe byaito ekiagara when you empower the community it is better than handouts una ninkingo teva. I want Nyamira to be a model county in the new models and techniques yokorani ebiyombe ekiagara government doesn't work with one person. The government works with a group of people, but it works with a group of people who are organized and who are compliant. Pono no gocha gosomia abantu gente ketangani ngokora no gosomia abantu since bare chi group echi ngakinda akore nyare chi group echi chibe profit making ventures esa ulinche ne biasara byo bwonchereri na somiri emyaka 20. I've been in finance and entrepreneurship ngakinda areto bungaini obo mbobe keri tangani ase biyombe ritangani ndara akore biyombe byabangina abo babwate mpaka widows nkore biyombe bya youth nkore biyombe bya people with disability ne biyombe bine byansi bire community ngakinko biyonchoreri bibe moyo bikore byasara una ti county ti gokora igo my first project neyo. The next project is to propose bills. For example ekimbwate nkore yane I don't understand why we should discriminate na omuntu guso byarire kerema ngatako ba muskari tako ba muami tako baki. As we all know chigasinchire cyo bisi barakoreki baranyare igona nche emotion yane ntanga ningo chigo present nelinga inclusivity nga omuntu buno byarire ko icha qualified nabako enda koreki o qualify ori ko muskari guso buami again to kende I must make sure my office must work to make sure nga those models omaite government bwati gap national government doesn't have a gap into leaders toko enda tuaregea but chi models chiri e government ebekete for chi widows ababoraka inko bwati chire usina marieta bago chababalika batamana marie na marieta those funds chiri chiko na nchiko support widows inko baikira chire ngakingo cha okora igo I will work with the community ngwaki na national government ngwaki ne kanisa mbeko obisiane na manyanga oyo bago tebanga no muburaka neke mayene no muburaka onye karo muburaka ngaki national government yego tebaba bwene teko ba supported nko babari supported igo if not how can I mitigate widows bakonywe orphans bakonywe talent promotion abantu baito not everyone can go to school. There are people who have talents and who have won billions. All of you watch Manu and all these things. Nganga ki ekerenga ki anano mo women rep. Nimbu atobisi ego identify this talent. Ninchi promote abana aba bakore the desires of their hearts. All these things is a structure. Na ki kitoko tayene kero ki mo women rep abantu bange tari nagusia mbarake understand nanki kebwene tekoba. Ayana yo bwene tekorigia maremo ye government ya PI inkiora akorera maremayo. You are supposed to write proposals to donor basket to funders pamanya na obonobole mu bwa PI totebe bwonega igaburabu no obole mata inkibora akore nabo bokoro si maternity cancer center rehabilitation center ne tuacha kwigora ya ongera in Kisi town bonobole mu bwa government inkiora beko gekonye a community. As you know Mugambi ekero ekikya women rep is a community based seat tokonyara gukora yebwika
mweshimwe ngwate banga ngwa abuli tangani ngwate ange gap neroro igwa identified which kunyara kwa kogo feel aye buna incoming women rep county ya Nyamira nkioro chikyanyara kwa bakego korwa nandi nkitara kore ko gatonyara kwa batogo twara baraya se miaka 10 bone uchikoye
omate omugambi obeiro gose babeiro batemire according to na kiba understand it lakini oku understand kwabo is not necessary that is the role of women. For example abako nyoro umuntu agotebanga nga kibono aliga nga kya ukwana iga about abaskari nero ukolika yaya tainchi nkulika national government nere kulika abaskari lakini bago advertise wa muna bari block kere county yawe kwata yaye aye no mu women rep wachirororo kwa make sure na bakora kina abanyamira barikwa and they are well distributed ekinkera happen that is a gap nga kinche ndakore mitigate that gap nga kinda akore nkonya abantu baito eyitali ere gap ebintu ebyons role ya women rep but for example distribution of sanitary towels echibako beka kiro montako beke TV onyagwaka nga nakonyira abana be school your work is not to distribute sanitary towels. All your women rep is policy at policy level nga kwa rwanire chibesa chiabekiri chisaine chigo chigokonyo omwana omonyamira okogende skuru abere skuru talinga kubwate bintu biri nakoyana na kwakwebicha. Yours is policy, not distribution. So the law states that woman rep will fight at policy level and ensure that the Ministry of Education or any other ministry that is relevant has put in budget enough funds to enable girls to stay in school by provision of sanitary towels. As is enabling and at policy level. Yes.
Mheshimiwa isokolegeria chi county omate tobwate 45 na ibere isokolegeria a level at which aba women rep which county chinde turateba na muna wateba kisi county mbanya tukabakwe gender based violence officers echi county chinde na chibes moko ebuna chi affirmative action fund ichire almost same in all the counties. Do you think a county ya Nyamira nire ni maigake?
Asawatebeke maene is a misunderstanding of what is supposed to be done. You see, you are not supposed to actually issue out things. The law stipulates that provide shelter for abantu bechi. So now interpretation of shelter for abangina bechiro is up to you. Nabora arete duve, bosorete ritandiko, bosore telibuli buso agache chiro una bangina bande bakorete bagachite. That is now subject to interpretation. Wono na kiye ko garanga abanta ebinte binge bitara happen totebenga say to ga Nyamira. Interpretation of what the law states and also networking. I have no more women rep. No water capacity you can network the national government and the NGO world elindole tebinto because yekeroge kenekene ekeroko likariru venga from the office of women representative Nyamira county egego koigorere binto netabanga national government go sitibesa chiangaf. Do you have the capacity to lobby for your people in terms of development? For example, to rirobo limovua PI no water capacity yo kuandika chi proposal with the donor world vale tegento. You understand? So that to duplicate ente abande bakore totebenga bono engesima ebohol yari miru ayena yo bwene tekorigerenga onye bohol kero nimbo atobole monda arete rehabilitation center. There's a rehabilitation center tingo kora kitinko nyara. Am I able to lobby with the line ministry ye government bang funds for the rehabilitation center? Onye line ministry tebu at budgetary provisions for that. Nimbo at ways ndarike to the donor world variety rehabilitation center. As you know how the donors work, they work through organized groups. There are some that work from government to government. So na bomonto no bwate capacity yokoenda ko negotiate with the German government kukoretera maybe a rehabilitation center or whatever they have decided that there is going to be aid to Africa as at that time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mweshimiwa aba ebirogo bine miroro asobochori oboigane ne mono ase county tubwato bo governor tubwato bo MCA tubwato bo bunge na barabumba bwate na baruchiga chiabo buna chibekira se constitution gose kali baganire goikerania enchira nero romo chikunyara ko bomo ko work gose mo chikunyara ko mo kubwaterana amona baraya bakurwa se county gose mo women repo go stand independent aso ko mirimo ya.
You know, the government is so intertwined, is so interdependent of each other. You are not a woman rep in space. You operate within a county.
Yeah.
So first you must make peace and network with the local government. As it is, Ekerokyo women rep, you are a lobbyist. You must work first with your village and the community, then you step to the county government, then you go to the regional government, then you go to the national government and the international government. Do you have capacity to deal with that? Ekiagera toteve, a county na bekole megesima. Talibo. Na aya na bogo source funds, olobi ole megesima. Troch. But yonye gesime kitoteve na MCA ya toteve ya Magombo ward. Ya lete gesima to a certain area. Na aya negesimo koira. So you must network with your people babona abantu ba Magombo ba already lakini mbaye wa maji. I am no women rep. What can you lobby and bring? Whatever a dispensary so that we don't have duplication of duties in the same area. I have to work with that MCA, go say governor, go say any minister in that department. Elinde manyenga, balimba retere wa mache, onye ginkolobi, negente keke ngango koraki, correct. Go say cancer center, go say maternity center, go say unabono iga. My aim, una ankorora. Ekereto bwate chipiae ntorosi una chinse chinde chirose tichi social hall oende chinse chi county chinde nonye nebyombe bingonya okwana byabangina muntu tayo kuumira no muchio bandi chi social hall si chirororo chibekire onye ko bwata matanga nabogokora onye ko bwate nyangi nabogokora ebyombe bibe formal mbiche ko banga etomigaine ko ende hall wate bimwe mobugeti korusa 2 to saa 3 mwakore kiombe kiende gyakaraki gyacha so that intoko nyoranga abangina bako ende kiombe rit korigima gogo ikomo chyoyo abangina bande bachaka kugamba eke gose youth bachaka kugamba mwarabo yonde torete formality and civility and dignity as abantu baitu.
Mweshimiwa nalega iko kuboria agotabona niga kurukwa Samuel Atunga kurwa se ewodi ya Bogichore bunge ya West Mugirango.
Yes.
Na niga rumwa kichukorate yanga mweshimiwa mbu yako herera kurende onyara kwa bakagutwara amabaga buna bina lecturer kwa beire monto monene ase county ya Nyamira. Nkero roke likuwa nyara kwa bako ikeraniane na mona kero bawo chikunyara kwa bawo wakire kura kera ene kinga no chikunyara kwa bako ikerania yonse.
Litanga ni
mbiyamana civic education yeah.
Mbiyamana seri swali ya boliri.
Yes.
In my career.
Yes.
Uisa kobolia na bogotebiwa. Where I have been. Na ina sena asomiri. Nimejaribu kutetea watu wetu abagusi in general. For example, where I started lecturing at the College of Insurance.
Yeah.
There were no kisses at all. Even one. Not staff, not students. We are the people who revolutionized that college to gachaka culture, civic education and getting people to insurance. Abantu bagacha kumanya this area of insurance in Anakiri. Same thing I did with stocks, shares when I was a financial analyst with the stock exchange. So my work is out there. You can see now. Any speaker Nyamira was one time my student. So my students are all over, and plus what yakobo nkeringa inkina akore maybe because tamanyeti lakini I also sponsor students bali banyorire good grades where I've lectured when people want to transfer courses na abakonyire ko change. For example mwana orangeriu biko mwata itakokora na ende tata itakokora maybe ata itakokora maybe IT abu I have my students, they can come here and confirm. There are students maybe okonyora mbara kana school fees basikereru gukora matema abu na akonyire because I'm an educationist na abantu bandi na abasomiringa ekereto bwate help talinga nechiloni choke koraki mogo chimu apply na asomiri abantu nana kibakoenda ba apply for scholarships na bakonyora partial scholarships na bakonyora full scholarships na bakonyora chirichia tuition peke yake echinda accommodation. So I've been a trainer for so long. I've trained people in the government, I've been a trainer in school of government, I've trained all these provincial administration. So my people are out there, they can know. Yeah.
But aso kwandira kwa sense mwa masomo kogara, you are a lecturer and you've been in the industry for long.
Yeah.
Anene mona boro kiwa baroro bauchi wakachikora kura se county ya Nyamira ida bago soma roro wese bago soma chi university sko inkyo bwate in store anene mona ase sector ya amasomo kura se county ya gavana mwa rep karora chorwe se obochore bone bumako
ekeronda chorwe esa uriye is my area.
Yes.
I'll try and streamline the education sector in Nyamira inke eminity both students and teachers, the teaching fraternity and the students mbabwata mahuri yabo as and when they will ask ekinda anyare go konya na bongo konya totebenga maybe people sometimes yabali mukonya barabare you know some transfers that are just illegit you know monto kwarusi wa asitiwa waka no nchirgo isana and there are so many issues chiabali. I'll be at the forefront fighting for the teachers because I'm one of them. Lobbying for better terms for teachers or the teaching fraternity and lobbying for our students. Sometimes abangi babu go se Nyamira ebairugari university. You understand? So whatever will be presented to my office, that I will deal with. Because I've been in there, I've been in the education sector for so long. Whatever they want done, I'll try my best and do it.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Nalega igo oteba kwa John Osero bo bado kwa sebonge ya West Mugrango. Hata ngambi ya mona singi ncho ya daktari na niga kuboliga aba women rep abange gose niga abantu abange bakanya kwa kwemurunga ninga ekero chorire ane mona aba women rep tibali ko barora. Ekero bona bona ge campaign kire no bale bako bakwanira buye kolinde kero babereri baga tibali go chase ground gose tibe kunyara kwa bako baikera. Ane mona ekero bagwate grievances cyabo kiri baga ni ko baikeria ase docket yo ba women rep.
That's right.
Nkikeli ocho kunyara kwa bako okora kwene kibuna mbanyara kwa bako ikera kiringaki apart from wikera ni yayiga kwanyara kwa bako kwanda.
Asante seriburi. Now ega siende yonse gokorekana. I'm a very structured and organized person. Uno ekero kyobo women rep. I have to come up with structures chira konya bangina. For example, tinko nyara gokora nchebeka na watena ekene community based. Politically, we have 4 constituencies, but administrative wise we have 5 sub-counties. Chibese chikwambo uri chiangafu na chichitogo cha kutumeka tobeke chi office every sub-county ekere tu abeki rororo mpaka angetana ne chi office zikoranga malalamishi y'abantu be gusemanga sub-county inkibabo uri gusenki tutu guse north inkibatagete chishida ne chinyingi. For example, widows bono egwide kare gusembukira nika abone echako kobeka ebirero bya eteko nyara, but I'll provide an office in North Mugirango asa koenda oiwe ticket number abantu bo office banya komotebya ngaye kesikya ya kodiki ya ikire. As well, we'll train our people that bamanyanga ekesi ekekiaretwa the responsibility of women rep was no monto monga. Still there will be sharp people in the office back batevi ekine kenkeri ekyomo women rep, but we redirect you here. The same office, in those offices we are going to structure it in a way that we have a resource center. Ebintu buna byatangazirwe ne government omonto na tabwati simire smart na bako enda obisi yabo naki mabaga kigose government yakoreki yatangazirwe. Ebintu mbire bigo korwa muna, for example, transfer of labor, which is done from government to government. Now we are looking east. Most government positions or labor transfer is happening to the Middle East. Dubai, we need this kind of workers, but 1,000, 3,000, 5,000. A government, when to distribute yamabagayu, which every county. A general yana no women rep kororanga amabagaria y'abantu ba Nyamira mbaegwa in terms of ngutakabare non-skilled, skilled and highly what skilled. Mbale bali batakorete school byayiga mbatakehire bachiko kore these menial jobs. Mbale chi doctor bari teachers ekero bakorika nkorika bare unana kibatake batagete ekero bari kirego kire county nebwate nafasi yaye abantu banyamira bachire usemba better represented. It is my work to represent the people of Nyamira in every case from the national government. Yes. My structure will have 5 officers fully equipped, and in those 5 officers taring abantu bana ba colleagues onyo yoboria mbogichora you West Mogrango. We will have someone from West Mogrango manning that office. Kiagera understand this problem abantu ba West Mogrango. Apart from that, ngobe katore board. A board ye yunge bwat. Someone from administration, ngao, someone from the church, a representative of maybe widows, orphans, and a youth. Tote a 10-member committee. Ne rabone command, bako we allowance because ngaf has money. Na bwabu bago chikorigi the legit widows, but chikorigi the legit talented persons, to but to go promote, and bago the legit people with disability. Ekiagara when they are supported by the national government, kwanyoranga abantu banyore bintu are true widows. Tali moka mumuro minto ochandegete. You understand? Nga mumuro minto ta asomete biyo gotabu atibinto since I'm the one awarding these funds for widows tigange mokai. So the church, the clergy, the administration and my people in the office at least bagotuara. It will be a legit receipt because but you correct due diligence. So that is how I'm going to work. God willing, if I win.
Thank
on
you.
9th.
Yeah, and we hope so.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa tutaraenda kwenda chinsa chito niko chikwenda bwango mono. Wakwaniriro yaba subati be widows na basubati bande ekerenga use agenda ya uchi asaba subati be myakemeke nabo igaba sae ubara banyaruka nabantu be myakemeke eronere liko singe uchinyarako bako ikeren.
The youth.
Yes.
Abakebare primary, secondary, because the youth.
No, the young girls.
The young girls, starting from the young girls,
yeah.
We have models of keeping them in school. My work as a woman rep is not to buy those things to take primary. Is to fight and ensure I have the number. That's why we said you can't work in isolation. You have to get the number of girls in schools from the Ministry of Education. In conjunction with the county government. Tomanya naki, we have 2 million girls, but we're not in the school. But we say in primary. I must make sure enough to keep those girls in school. The other thing in primary is teenage pregnancies. It is my work to ensure the breastfeeding period school. I have to work with abatureti n'abagambi n'ekanisa toirania abana abo school. The other thing, those who fail to go back to school, then they become single parents but underage. How can we support them? Nabo montaga tanga nje na sogete nje tinda itikoirana ya rana nkonye nga kitoko baira for vocational training bacha akego sona bacha akeko ba nonyene plumber if they wish, electrician and all these other things. So that is that sector. The other sector of the youth na baba akolire bono form 4. Oseba libare high school could go the same way with primary, but our youth baito first is to identify their talent. Balibare talented, place them. You know, we have to cascade. Like Ababara youth, first they are male. We have clusters. They are male and female. Male, their problems could be different, and how we can place them. Now, ladies the same way. Most ladies would want maybe jobs to go to courses. How have I helped? Omoiseko kodire form 4 koendelea masomo. Bare niti, bare confused. Ekos bara akole. Bare bataeteko soka and all that. How do we provide an enabling environment? Torete counselors, torete educators, torete trainers to these guys. Na bari ba available na ba Kodechi University. In our office, Nagotevia, we will have anyone who is a graduate, who has not been placed, we will have the data. Once we have the data, we will struggle as much as possible. To go to the government, to the national government, and placements elsewhere. That my department in every constituency will have that department of graduates who are just hanging there. And then we will be sorting them in order priority omaete nare graduate yachete moisonde mbare bari bakorete go sen 2016 bare so desperate, so we will have that data and then we'll cluster that data tonyare ko bakonya. Besides that, we will be pushing for these other jobs in Nagotev, it's government. Abarimu bari bakorete ba graduate ko maseno awataunga ngabarimu ba physics bono mbatake iri bono umuntu oganya 1 year, 2nd year bacha bari kuna board of management, yeah. So back and 10,000 they started being desperate, despair, yeah, setting and all that. How am I going to have structures chogokonya? Is by having these models. We have meetings with them, we have trainers, you have to have capacity. The government, national government, has all this lined up. No plaque, no correct. I have this group of youths. Can we get mentors to come and talk to them? Abana, kwanya rabachakri korizon. As we are mentoring them, we are posting some of them. Some we are sending in an agotev. Some we are getting scholarships. Some we are getting partial scholarships. Some we are getting help for masters. You understand? Some we are getting stipends, some we are getting grants and all that. It's a full department that will deal with youth. I'm teaching them. Gastiracha government advertise. Inchuanga maform group. Mbarigi chibesa koru youth fund. Gustaba angina isaransa. Mbarigi chibesa koru women enterprise fund or biashara fund as it's known right now. Abande babwate group inuna abakonya mugakore contract ye through your MCA or the county government or the national government. Obunga onye ne group ya 20 youths to barigerie a contract. Mbarigeri mpaka mbeke they are farm compliant etuare youth certificate. Ingenda ntebie government gocha e government yonse gocha me I can work with any government. Timbu I think a special person ngo chiko work there. Oyinya sacha orabe kabu let's work with that person. Ntebe buna kae a group ya youth a project bakore because the government so dictates. Ba wakore project onye 20 bari go same 40. To buy project go say 10 million. I help them to hook them up with financial institutions. A contract, technical know-how. It is my work as the intervening factor to make sure na rigiri go sene bank and they use na equity backless whichever. A support ya bantaba. How so? Another project ya 10 million. Cost is going to be say 4 million. The interest for the bank is going to be 1 million. Igonga out of 4 million, have chiachire in cost and interest. Mbago tigara na 5 million. I will still support them by forming CIGs, common interest groups. One of they can continue doing government projects or they can start a project, anything, like even chinkoko, poultry and all these things. Empowering youth, women with disability and women, you have to have a plan. This term empowerment echo misused. You have to have steps 1, 2, 3, paka 5 as about chakonyore profit a year even distributed amongst them. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Nkaita wanyara kwa kibeka bya senchira yo ikarana singenchiwe chinsa. Chi campaign nchigenderete ni gotubata matuko 30 kankagerita bona tigaire bosibo chore bonene bo mwakoyo. Buna kwanyara kwa bakora chi campaign chiao ntwaro che West Mugranga mangananya tukobaka koleka na mu burukano mokemoke. Kero kendi kwanyara kwa bako wosego konyoro bokongwa chi campaign chiao nande nkiura nyara kwa bagokogania anene monekera matukaya iga agenderete okea.
Abantu baminto kupigana sio siasa. Egenton keringa tigo montache ehoni chipati bono iga chiri chinyingi yani enkora tebi abantu nga inumwensi ne client cheito ka abantu mabaga wakuje wauze sera zao nebe pati mwensi pina abaito igo tigo monto ka monto ribaga ache oni morenga umonto na isaine ko sitakoretiki taisaine kupigana iyo sio siasa naende enkubori abantu baminto twara esiasa yo morembe mwarora ekertu bwato morembe buna bageni aba baito bacha bazimio bacha gaiga bantu mbarwaniti bono nabara bwekero bakoyenda na intu abaraye kero mo gututuma go chiaria eko baraisi ekera bakoranga Nyamira mbaru anetie keratu alengo ebato welcome tibia yabera abagaraisi ne babuna ne child hospital na inche ningenda bana ntebira ila gusente bida gusente bimatha karwa gakiba minto no twaringa na entu atenene ntu igore nyagitari area abeli county number 45 otare gocha 946 utekereken eko baraisi ekiagere kero bachete etu aba welcome tina maoko amarabu igo wacha vita iwezi saidia inchetini mwabene we nkora agenda nde asengo takakogenda ngogenda ndo elinda abantu baito baigwe ase level ya education nimbwenete koirani back to the community igo I'm giving back to the community through civic education abantu baito bono bamanyire una ekeroge keninki bagocha kwende a ballot box bagocha ko pick they will pick bamanyete na omonto yo nachorire nero lie miliato tebeti na isaine go chokore ebintu according to the constitution.
Yes. Thank you very much Mheshimiwa Karutochi Okora. Say national politics, do you believe nga ekembeke bacho nechimbewe IEBC kialiganire kima sobo chole bonene bo mwaka oyo
wako tayari
aba bisambaro batano banyara ko bagotini wemirimo ake kolengana na mangana aliende tokolekana gali nabo iza masakara yikura nanyara ko bakawo chaka ko swasinsi ya Kenya.
Yes.
Na mangana ro agendete ko kolekana anene makuru asikiyombe keiga ingana ya uchi asikiyombe bacho nechimbewe nerie
ditangani abantu baminto siasa nenko so siasa kene gionse gekorutugo cha semori igono na IBC kuna wale watu wanataka kuipaka tu matoka lakini chile training as aspirants as candidates to atebi IBC nere tayari lakini waikomanya nga IBC does not operate on its own ngotumiere abantu kero monto muna iboretu no bokora bwa yakoreteki atagite so they are vigilant ondora arete manganande na bwatwe naende na be handled by the law lakini IBC na barabu nitawaambia kwa macho ekiagara in the past we have seen where incidences omonto tabweti akaba declared oyobuyete but I think candidates to spintora alert candidates we are going to choose our able agents and the IBC is going to give us fair play we are hoping but Chebukati and his team must know that they have to have fair play na abantu ababande bonse pia ababande tokori gichikura humble yourselves tigatori gichikura no botohererwe abantu mbale bono nantu women for example tokori gichikura okanyoro mutanda abantu bakoramire baramire family abantu bunanje bagatebanga cheno yo Kisi County ebintu bunebyo inche no Nyamira original buone no burabu naende no ibere tuburabu gaiga abantu bande even women yokonyora bono bachakire ukuramisa uli barodirenga you are a leading contender tigango tokore chikura chia chike maene ayenchuoni ebintu bia abarinde abantu bonyire gusiengima ekero kyobo women rep ninki tigabache batoroke out of that ebintu biri bya bange the constitution yagoteba to ange report card munana kiyo koraki egoteba igonto nyagotarira oyo ndondetire oyo ndakurikaiga oyo ndabegete cyanga kireiga apana kuja buno mongina oyeresenga mwangete egasi yane nare gokora neye no nakoreka abantu baminto nkorereki ingakere chikura igonko basominde na onde bwensi ogotenena koleboria no nyare gokora egasi naenda abagambi Nyasaye korwa hakuna need ya kupigana no tere mpaka mambia abagambi Nyasaye korwa kwa hivyo mimi napenda raha napenda siasa ya amani na kweli watu wa Nyamira ni watu wa pole na wanaelewa and they are very intelligent and they know what to do.
Biamono sana Mheshimiwa Karukende onye kubwate ngana yawe yo mweli wecha somwakie kura unyamira nabo igo omo Kenya mogimane no mogusima rwaba yabona
Mbiamono media houses the fourth estate asogontwara na kiringa mbiamono asa abantu baito banyamira tigamba sabe tigangireri bageri abene kubasabe kura mbiamono ase support mwangete kero mugambi omonene achete kuruchi constituency nye twarenge Kerenyo for North Mugirango tukaenda Nyamaiya for West Mugirango tukaenda Kiabonyoru for Burabu tukamanya gocha Burigoma ase Kitutu mbuya mona ase support mwangete support ye Riberera ne movement Riberera ne gento gegocha kurusia obokendu Riberera ne rijoto Riberera no monto gocha kwenda agari abaretere ebintu anyagerie ebintu ababorerie ebintu nitapigania Nyamira for 20 years bantu banyamira mbanya korrekana andi nere time yaito nkoenda kuboringa it's not an event, it's a process tochake tororekane abana baitu basome abangina babatware dignity n'ebintu byonspi igotare tisa abantu baitu banyamira muimoke kemambia moche mwakereri joto mokorigereria ari ballot nonda ari aseri tunda amorete elitoka matoke inche n'omonto hodie azimio la umoja mambia toboke twake chikura Nyamira ngabe oborabu bwachire Nyamira mbuya mono.
Biamono sana mheshimiwa daktari asinge nchoko nyaliba okwana muna intwe asomugorobo bono na nigo tokukanira maya asobochore bonene bo mwakwega naboro ni libonsi bekeroke bo women reporters county ya Nyamira. Thank you very much asinge nchoko tutwaro moncho ligereria ine nkwana ye masemo amo nomo gosomorwa ni bekeroke bo women reporters county ya Nyamira ekeroke nyarakoba geko Emily Nyagarama nko reri bageri gabo igomba kere bonsi bane kibineri yogine chibicha yawekere asenchira ya bene kegema abo barenge maiga yemitambo ko wakera ambuya mona asinge nchoko sangamo na into kachinga kichinde mbuya mono sana
mbuya mono.
Thank you very